Jesus! What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pungo Paints. This new series is going to be something a little special. I took a poll online to see what people wanted to, I guess, paint along with or see what would come of it. Either way, we were going to do a Beholder, but this little guy that we're about to paint actually beat out the other one about 16-7 after everything was really done. Because even after I posted the results, people were still voting. But we're going to be doing a Krieg Marine. Deathcore Krieg. I already got him more or less put together. I'm sure people aren't used to seeing me do something like this, but as you can also see, it is very open. So we're going to be doing that and not worry about it. We're also going to be not exactly kit bashing too much, but I've got a standard regular Primaris pauldron. But then I have this little guy. And anyone who knows their bits, this is a Cataphracti Terminator undershoulder, or however the hell you want to put it. This is the first layer, and then the second layer would go on top of it. Excuse me. So this is actually going to be right over here, kind of like a Corn Berserker would look. Just something a little different I want to try. We do have a Mark IV helmet. Honestly, I chose this because it reminds me the most of a Deathcore Krieg mask. And then this is going to be our backpack, or power pack, however you want to call it. And I even put a little shovel there. Look at that. It's a little shovel, but it's a shovel. And when it comes to the core of the Kriegsman, I've noticed paint schemes can differ. For instance, this was a color palette test that I did before I started my Krieg kill team. I'm going to be finishing up my kill team. I only have 3 out of 10 painted. They're going to be up on my Etsy. So if you guys want it, just keep a lookout. After we're done with this Krieg Marine, I'm going to spend the next few days and do those. So hopefully by the time this episode airs, that'll already be there. Pungo Paints Workshop, Etsy. Check it out if you want. This Krieg Marine is even on there. We're not going to be doing a base like this. This was experimental for me. I wanted to see what I could do, how I could do it. The barbed wire still needs some work, but either way, like I said, this was a test color palette, and we're not going to be going this dark. So I'm actually going to be going with a little something like this. I brought out one of my Krieg that I've already painted up to give an example. All right, another trench base that I was working on. This was a earlier draft than the other one that you just saw. But as you can see, we're going with a gray coat, lighter gray pants, some light tan on the foot wrappings and everything, rough iron or dark iron, and accents of silver, black gloves, black boots. I'm not sure if I'll translate that exactly to the Marine, like having the shoes black and everything and the black hands. Might go with the black hands. The shoes, probably not. Just keep them all as gray. It's a little bit of a simplified look. I honestly didn't want to green stuff a lot of stuff on this. But these guys are inspired from, like the Krieg themselves, World War I German soldiers. So we're going to be doing that for this Krieg Marine. The mud effects, we just might do that. I know this has a bit of a block on it. He's standing on a little bit of a rock. But still, either way, this should turn out to be pretty interesting. But first things first, grab our Vallejo Black. And we're going to be doing the soft parts. Oh, one more thing. Our palette today. Got a tip online from a friend that if you have one of these poppets, you put your paint in there, and since it's all acrylic, as soon as you pop it out, bam, it just peels right off and it's easy. So we're going to be showcasing that today. Alrighty. First things first, let's get that black out there. Just a little bit. All we got to do are the soft parts for now. I did have some new paintbrushes recently, however, a lot of them are becoming very well used. The tips are starting to curve on me. Some of them are almost starting to fray. But either way, let's do this. Let me turn that palette so I can get that color a lot easier. How's everyone doing? Fantastic. Let's just start in here. Why not? Starting with a bigger brush than I would like, but the smaller ones, like I said, are just a little frayed to the point where I'm not sure I want to be using them for the small detail like that. Probably change our mind. As you can see, man, this brush is already chipping away at me. Interesting. I've been on, I want to say, a paint and spree. Man, everything is getting all muddied up, man. We'll fix everything, of course. But you know me. If I don't have to repaint things, good. Because I don't like repainting it. Anywho, I'm sure I was saying something and now I can't remember. Oh, something about a painting spree. So, for those that know and follow my work, I can generally do a miniature in a night. And I've been pumping them out. However, I've also decided to slow myself down a bit. Just because I didn't want to burn myself out on anything. It's very easy to do. Especially when you're doing like one a day. No, one a night, I should say. And they take about 4 to 6 hours, and you're just sitting there painting. It's getting into 3 a.m. when you're finally either unfortunately you're just finishing, or that's when your head hits the pillow. I'm getting pretty tired of that. Usually I'm done between 12:30 to 1:30. Kind of all depends. Especially if it's a Chaos Marine. If it's a Chaos Space Marine, I know I'm going to be up a little bit later than I want to, unless I can get an early start, and that really just all depends. Depends on a few things. If I can get that early start, fantastic. Sometimes I'm even able to paint during the day. Who knows, man? real. Whatever. All right, moving on. We're kind of blowing through with this stuff. I had been doing my research on my own videos. For one, I'm pretty sure I've said it before, but I'll say it again, just ironically for the context. I don't have the best memory, so if I end up telling the same stories, very sorry. But with that being said, part of the reason I was rewatching some of the older videos was to critique myself and see how long things were taken and whatnot. And I remember getting through, one of the episodes. That just spread it, didn't it? It's okay. It's on the other side, and we've still got uniform gray that we can patch everything up with. Anyway, it's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Yep. Let's just spread that out as best as possible. Anywho, that threw me off so much, I don't even know what the hell I was saying. Good Lord. Right, I was critiquing my videos and trying to see where I could improve, at least on time management and whatnot. One of the first issues I ever saw was how long it took to paint soft parts. And to me, it's understandable, and I don't exactly care, but I try to keep y'all in mind, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to sit here and bore the hell out of you, make an entire episode where all I got done was the soft parts of it. Sure, we're having conversation and everything, but I mean, dude, it'd be nice to have a little bit more progression than that. So I'm trying to paint just a little bit faster here, but still trying to keep in mind things. Now, I know before I have painted this part wood, the little grip here. I have since not fully moved away from it because I still like that look. It honestly will depend on the model. For my Krieg, their last rifles, I have been painting them wooden on the stock, where even when I saw some painting tutorials on them, I just wanted to get an idea on what to do with certain parts. I had seen that they had painted them, the rifle was all black and everything, and I was like, you know what? I want to go with some wood on that just to make it feel more rustic, I guess. I don't know. I like the natural elements in such an advanced sci-fi setting. Pretty sure we've talked about that before, where you would have, there's no paper in Star Wars until the sequel trilogy, which we're still not going to discuss. And I kind of want to do that in wood, but at least for the sake of the video and everything, and the fact that I'm just not that worried about it, we are just going to go with all black. I kind of wish Space Marines had some last rifles, honestly. As far as I can understand, I'm pretty sure last rifles are, inferior firepower, which is hilarious because they give that to the guard. And I know they don't need to be wasting bolter and whatnot, but I'm like, you throw so much to the wind. You can't salvage everything from all these battlefields. So all the resources that it takes, a lot of things just end up going to complete and utter waste. You can't give them bolt rifles? You can't give them bolters? I mean, hell, they got chain swords. Either way, we're going to be doing black on the chain sword. I got some transfers for us to do. Some of them are from the Krieg set that I have. Others are just spread out from other little sets. It's not the easiest painting with such a thick brush when it comes to these little parts. I mean, I know I am moving rather quickly, at least as far as I'm concerned, is rather quickly. But, whew. So if anybody was particularly excited about this Krieg Marine, one, I appreciate that. Two, I don't blame you. It's the Krieg. They are absolutely terrifying and awesome. I of course cannot get over their aesthetic. Growing up as in a household that was, I had 2 history buffs in there. History Channel was always on. So I got to learn a lot about either, Revolutionary War, Civil War, but mainly it was, let's face it, World War II, because History Channel just knows how to beat a dead horse. And there's always World War II documentaries coming out every friggin' year, and it's just insane that they can do so much. I'm like, how many times, how many different ways can you talk about the same goddamn battles, talking about the same goddamn numbers, the same goddamn generals, and the same goddamn Nazi regime and all this other bullshit, and I'm just... It is very important to know this history. However, spending my whole life, learning about it, I'd gotten over it pretty quickly. And like I've said in our last series, lately I'd been getting into researching World War I. And of course, when I first saw the Krieg, it's so obvious they are World War I inspired. And it is fantastic because the aesthetics are just... It's very much a guy thing to say that stuff is cool, I think. It's just in our nature to find war military stuff to be kind of cool. I mean, hell, look at the Nazis and their uniforms. I can't remember who even designed their stuff. I almost want to say it was Gucci or something like that. But yeah, part of their thing was looking damn good, and their uniforms, officers and infantry, they look damn good. And I love the way the Krieg look. And I don't like the blue that they had been going with. I just don't like it. One, I don't like blue. Whew, man, that black is thick on there. This brush is also very dirty now, and it's gone way too far up the bristles. So there's a possibility that this brush will be no good after today. But anyway, All right. So when I was talking color palette earlier, one of the good things about doing what I am going to be doing is we won't really have to touch his top half. Not even these little plates that are sticking off here, nor the back bum plate, whatever you want to call it. We're leaving all of that exact gray. And we're going to come back in for the legs in this ash gray and lighten that up. That's exactly what I've been doing with my Krieg, and that's just what we're going to be doing here today. But while I have the black out, I do want to take my brush here and see if I can get it in focus for you. You see how curved that is? Good Lord. That's why I wasn't using it to do all the soft parts, although I've learned to work with that. But we are going to do the eye lenses real quick. I'm going to do them black because I've been doing my Krieg with black eye lenses. I haven't been doing them with glowing red lenses like I've also seen. It's very contradictory in a lot of the artwork. And even on the box art, you see black lenses because it's a damn gas mask. It's not some augmented helmet. You know, if it is, because I haven't read the Krieg book just yet, then awesome. But yeah, I haven't been seeing glowing red lenses from anybody unless a fan had drawn them. Now, to be fair, when it came to my first Krieg Marine, I have red lenses. But we ain't going that route today, because we're not even going with that color scheme. The only thing from that color scheme that we were going to use is basically the helmet and the shoulders. Yeah, that was about it, honestly. The helmet and the shoulders. Okay. Okay. I think we're going to leave the hands gray. We're going to leave those feet gray. We're at about 22 minutes here. There's not much for the leather, so you know what we're going to do. Just like our old recipe. Now, I was going to go with leather brown, and then I was going to go with tanned flesh for the dry brushing when it came to the leather pouches and whatnot. However, I, for my Krieg, used tanned flesh for the mask, and then I used barbarian flesh for the edges. So with that, I need to make the leather stand out. So we're going to be going back to our old friends at Oak Brown to do the leather. And then we'll go back with the leather brown for the dry brushing and edge highlighting. But yeah, it's got to be that way. It's got to be that way. It don't matter, though. And it all looks pretty nifty. All right. You know, honestly, I was kind of relieved in a way, but also disappointed that everyone had voted, or at least that double of people had voted for the Krieg Marine over the Beholder that I had. I was a little disappointed because I know my audience. I know exactly what I paint here, what I'm really known for, and I was just hoping that the underdog would win. I honestly did not think the Beholder would win that at all. I was like, yeah, it's a possibility. It really, really could happen. But I wasn't, like, holding out for that. And then when it didn't win, I was like, you know, that is kind of a shame. Because I even saw people voting that they don't partake. These are people that I know personally. They don't exactly partake in anything that I do online. So when I saw that they had voted, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know if you'll watch. If you are, hey, thank you. But I did promise them that after we're done with the Krieg Marine, the next series will be the Beholder. Now, those of you that know the D&D, all the miniatures that have been coming out and whatnot, it is going to be the Beholder variant. I got my hands on that because I had a Beholder and I like it and whatnot, but I didn't want to paint that same model again. I just didn't want to do that. And I've been looking for that Beholder variant because it looked mean. It was very nasty looking. But I guess the reason I was relieved that it didn't win in the vote is because, honestly, I didn't know what to do with it. I still can't decide a color scheme for that thing. The first Beholder that I did was purple, with some accents of red and yellow eyes. And then I did my zombie Beholder. They both might be on my Etsy. I'm not sure if I had gotten rid of them. Either way, I didn't want to do another purple one again, mainly because my purple paints were not the most reliable at the moment. Oh, we still got to do that hilt. Every time, man, I almost forget about this hilt. And then I usually have to come back, re-pour some brown for it, waste paint. Man, it's a pain in the ass. Anyway, like I was saying though, I have promised the peeps that we are going to deviate from 40K just for a little bit, and we're gonna do that nasty Beholder. Until then, I will think of a color scheme for him. Obviously, I can't not have a color scheme. The only miniature that I went into without really a game plan, and it was still a game plan, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it was the Night Butcher, the Night Lord Berserker. And even I knew what I was going to do, but we were very much playing it by ear throughout that whole process, trying to figure out, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? What colors are we going to go with? We'll figure it out, though. But we're at 28 minutes, so we're going to wrap it up here for today. Go figure. All we got were the soft parts, the weapons, and some leather. So I guess we did make a little bit more progress than usual. But either way, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to catch up with me next week. I try to make my uploads consistent every Friday. Narratives would be Mondays when they become available. And new content, I'm going to try to get them out on Wednesdays when they become available. Like I said before, recording is just a challenge, and things are always changing, especially these days. Things are getting more challenging schedule-wise. But I'm working on it with you guys, so just hang in there. I appreciate all your support, and I will see you next time. Take it easy, y'all.